The man stares across the table at the woman who's sitting there, the most beautiful woman that he's ever seen. He looks up at her, their eyes meet, and he says, "Welcome to the OC, bitch." That's my telenovela.
Yo quiero.
What you say?
I told you that it's time to start the show.
That you only meant well.
Yeah, the show's gonna do
Of
well.
course you did. What you say?
I said let's go.
That it's all for the best.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like the best podcast.
What you say?
God, do I have to keep repeating myself?
Just what we need. You decided this.
Hold up, I
What
thought we
you
both
say?
decided to do this.
What did she say?
I said let's start the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to What You Say, an OC podcast. My name is Lise Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
And together,
We're the Dailies. Yes, this is the podcast where each and every week we watch a soap opera in another language and make up fake commentary about what's going on. This week we watched the OC Season 1, Episode 20, the Telenovela.
Yes.
Which
We
of course
understood.
means the TV
Drama.
mini novel.
Novel, yes. Which is what we watch every week.
Indeed.
But before we get into what that episode was about, it's time for everyone's favorite section, the quick little part, the Rosies and Thornies.
Every rose has its thorn,
Has its thorn.
just like every night has its dawn.
Dawn, dawn, dawn.
Every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah. Jesus. Yes, this is the part of the podcast where Elise and I look back on the last week and talk about what's good, what's bad, what's a rose, what's a thorn. And as always, we start with the bad. Elise, what is your thorn this week?
So I had a really good break, but I also stayed up a lot later than I normally do.
Word.
And I'm out of my eye cream, and eye cream is very essential in order to help make sure that my dark circles and my wrinkles go away. And I've been out of it for actually a while, and I need to just go back and get some. And so my thorn is I'm out of my eye cream, and then as an effect of that, I have dark circles and wrinkles under my eyes.
This is one of like the most like first world basic white girl thorns you've ever had.
But isn't the fact that that's what my thorn is like good news that I've had a pretty good week?
Yeah, it's great news.
Yeah, I figured I shouldn't complain about the fact that I'm like going back to work or anything. I'll find something else to nitpick about.
I just think we have like anyone else listening to this podcast that's like struggling in their life and they're like, what is the worst thing that happened to you, Elise? I ran out of eye cream and there are circles under my eyes. Your eyes look great, by the way.
Except you were the one that actually brought it up. You saw me and you're like, "Oh, babe, why you got all these circles under your eyes?"
I pulled the old. Here's a marriage tip for y'all out there. Don't ever look at your wife and say, "You look tired." Don't ever do that.
Yeah, not a good call.
Don't do it.
Not good. Yeah, but anyway, Scott, what's your thorn?
My thorn is I have an important message that I don't know if anyone knows about this.
I don't think anyone does.
I like bread. I like bread a whole lot. Bread is really good.
Yeah,
But
things
it's a
with
new year.
Flour.
It's a new year. It's a new me, eventually. And I want to be healthier. I'm going to be 35 years old this year. I can't keep eating like a 20-year-old. I want to be healthier. I want to get my diet under control. So I've really cut back. And I was jokingly saying this is no carbs 2020. It's not. I'm definitely have already eaten a carb. And I'm going to eat more
smart
carbs.
carbs.
Yeah.
It's smart carbs.
And I'm going to eat more carbs, probably. But the whole point is I'm trying to...
Less bread.
Yes. Less bread,
sweets.
less sweets. I'm trying to eat healthier, smarter, better. At least got a bunch of cookbooks for Christmas that we've been using.
Oh, yeah, they're
and,
awesome.
We had some cream of mushroom soup today.
It was delicious.
Nom, 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 nom. So good.
It's mushroom chicken soup.
Whatever.
That's
Cream
what it
of
was.
mushroom chicken soup.
Yeah, homemade. I've never made homemade mushroom soup before.
Neither have I.
And very easy, too.
You homegrown mushrooms.
No,
right in the backyard.
no.
Just pop those up.
Yeah.
I might die.
Is that why I'm feeling a little trippy right now?
It could be.
Yeah. Okay.
Elise.
Yep.
What's your thorn?
My
I mean, your
rose.
rose. What's your
My rose this week is the fact that as of yesterday, we have officially started award season.
That's true.
And Scott and I, we love award season.
Also
Award
true.
season is the time where we just really, I guess, just get really excited and kind of just go crazy and just start watching even more movies than we can, because as soon as the Oscars nominations are released, we always try and go see all of the at least best picture ones that we haven't seen already.
And we try to go see the shorts. We don't always get
shorts,
to. We try to
and
see the
it's
shorts.
just, it's such a great time of year. I enjoy it.
What happened last night? Why is the award
it's the
season
Golden
now?
Globes.
Yeah.
Means the dresses are back. Ugh.
You know what my favorite thing about the Golden Globes was?
What?
Leica, Missing Link, winning the best animated
did
feature.
really like
I
that.
loved that. I was so happy
I knew
about
you were
that.
going to be so happy.
I was so excited. No one watched that movie. I loved that movie. It wasn't like his best movie. I'm not going to
No, remember when he died?
Elise, you can't just say, remember when he died.
That one character, though, is just like abrupt. I think that happened a couple times in the movie. Like there were different characters.
Stop spoiling. Stop it.
I'm not saying who it was.
It doesn't matter. You can't just say, remember when he died.
There were a couple very abrupt deaths in
it's
the movie.
really
I can't say that.
And those abrupt and surprising deaths are now ruined to everyone who has seen the movie because you've now prepared them for abrupt, surprising deaths.
At least I didn't tell him who, like you tried to last week, and then you so expertly edited out.
I did edit this out because Elise pitched a fit, but who here doesn't know what happens in Little Women? Raise your hands. I'm seeing no hands raised, Elise. I'm seeing no hands raised. None.
In a room of two people who you know.
No,
have
there's
seen
an
the
audience. We can see them right over there. No hands raised.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to let you spoil it again. I'm going to let you move on to your rose.
Okay, I'm moving on to my rose. My rose this week is on Saturday. Our dog, our puppy Penny, started training school. We just do, like, it's not like a big, complicated class thing. We just do it at our local PetSmart. It's like a 6-week course, once a week. And so it was an hour, and she did really good. I was worried. I was worried about Penny. We got a little lucky, I will say, because there were only 2 dogs in this class. Mm-hmm. And can you imagine how much more crazy it would have been if there were like 6 or 8 little, like 2 to 4 month old puppies in that class? It would have been crazy. There were only 2 dogs, another Australian Shepherd and Penny. And Penny, I mean, best dog
by far
in the class.
cutest.
Best, well, yeah, definitely the cutest. That's no contest. But also, like, the best dog in the class. Like, hands down the best. This other dog was a little barky shit, and it just barked, and it made Penny bark back, but it was his fault.
Yeah.
It was his
Penny
fault.
does not bark unless provoked.
Yeah. And Penny was rocking the sit, and she's rocking Watch Me. She's got them both down, and she's doing great, and we're working on Stay. Mm-hmm. It's not going well. She doesn't like to stay.
She does good with me.
No, I just tried it before we started recording, and I would walk away, and she would follow immediately.
It's a bummer.
But
it's just because she loves us so much.
Yeah,
she wants to be by us. That's the tricky part.
So 6 weeks from now, she's going to be an expertly trained dog, and I love doing that. Like, training dogs is fun. I enjoy it, and I'm glad that our dog's smart and
she's smart.
doing well.
Yep.
So that's my rose for this week. And
awesome.
That's the Rosies and Thorties.
That's perfect.
So let's move on to...
I'm very confused because I didn't change the names for these introductions in the summary, and your name's on both of them.
Yeah, I just wanted to take over.
You just wanted to take over? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. You're pretty good about doing that. So, yeah. Go ahead.
So this week we were talking about episode 20 of the OC called the Telenovela. I don't know why I'm pausing there. It's one word, telenovela. It was written by Stephanie Savage.
She's written a lot of episodes, like so many I just didn't even want to go through and name. Upwards of 10, maybe around 20.
Savage.
Yeah, related to Ben.
And also directed by our good pal, Mr. Sanford Bookstaver.
The last of his trilogy.
The final Sanford Bookstaver. I'm so sad I don't get to say the name Sanford Bookstaver for the rest of the show. He gave us 3 episodes and then he left gracefully. This episode originally aired on February 25th, 2004. And Elise, why don't you hit me up with that summary?
Okay, in this episode, Ryan and Marissa begin their lives as just friends in the aftermath of everything that has happened. But they soon find out that it is not as easy as it looks. Things take another turn when Ryan's former flame, Teresa Diaz, shows up in Newport to work as a waitress for a special gathering and wants to try to reconcile with him. Meanwhile, Julie and Luke begin having a passionate affair behind everyone's backs, while Seth and Sumer decide to declare their love for each other.
Oh, so Elise, what did you think about this episode of The OC?
Any episode that highlights the Seth and Sumer relationship from last week moving forward is just gold to me. I love Seth and Sumer, their dynamic.
I agree.
And it was a heavy episode on that, so I quite enjoyed this.
You know what I can't stand, though?
What?
Anything to do with Ryan and Marissa. I am so bored with it. I don't care. Like, Teresa's, I'm sure, a very interesting character. I don't care about her. I don't like
Teresa either.
I don't care about her very much. I don't care. The most exciting thing for Coop in this episode is if she was going to find out that her mom's banging her ex-boyfriend. I like, what's going on with Ryan? Don't care about it. And I hope they find a way to make this interesting soon because they're spending a lot of time on it.
And it's just like the fact that he doesn't have great on-screen chemistry with
we talked
Marissa,
about that last week.
Nor great on-screen chemistry with Teresa.
That's interesting because I thought they did last week, but I agree with you this week. I didn't see it. When he walks up to her at the end of the episode and like chooses to kiss her, I was like, I don't buy this, Ryan.
So it just kind of makes you wonder, does he have good on-screen chemistry with any woman?
I don't know.
Okay, so this episode, Scott, we start off with Seth and Ryan together and Marissa and Sumer together, and they're both walking throughout the, I guess, common area outside at their school, and they're having the same conversation, just obviously different ways because boys talk about this slightly different than the girls talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're different.
Yeah. Basically, they're talking about how Ryan and Coop are just friends. And about how that looks as being just friends. But everyone agrees that Ryan and Marissa were never friends.
Yeah, the recurring beat of this entire episode is, when were you guys ever friends? And the answer is, never. They were never friends. Yeah. They went right to being in a relationship, and that's it.
Yeah. And so Sumer and Seth are also talked about with Marissa and Coop and about their relationship. And Sumer has, said Seth is quite the anti-Cohen in the sheets, and things seem to be going very well in that department. It's just in front of everyone else, she doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, and that's their big plot of this episode is they are not publicly dating, and she doesn't seem comfortable doing that in public, and we find out why later in the episode. But it's interesting because I thought at the beautiful end of last week's episode, this beautiful end, they play the song, they're dancing, they weren't going to have sex. It seemed like the idea was, we jumped into the physical too fast. Let's take a step back from the physical and let's work on the relationship. Let's actually date or learn about each other or be in a relationship with each other, right? That's what I thought. No, they're just bang.
No, they just wanted to take that night slow.
Sure, it's just that night specifically.
Yeah.
And then they were going to go back to Bangtown. And apparently in the week between these episodes, Seth has gotten surprisingly good at sex. Good for him.
Just got practice, right?
Just practice makes perfect. Yeah. But they still are not like publicly a couple.
Yeah. So while Seth and Ryan are talking, all of a sudden, Seth gets this phone call, and it happens to be Teresa.
Oh, hello.
And Teresa wants to hang out with Ryan because she's in town. And he says, oh, yeah, sure. They set up a time. But then we cut to Teresa. Who, when she's hanging up the phone, kicks a suitcase underneath the bed to hide it.
Interesting.
As a mysterious man who we've never met before is exiting the shower.
It's almost as if it's some sort of telenovela. And then it's the theme song.
California, here we come.
And I see here in the notes, you have it say, the Fantastic Four meet at the school. And I think that's great.
I think it's just what we're going to call them.
That's wonderful. I love it. Support it.
Fan Four, Fab Four.
Fab Four is Beatles. The Fantastic Four are Marvel characters.
Yeah, I figured this works with comic books because of how much Seth likes comics.
We can use it, but in order to use it, I need you to tell me any name of any of the Fantastic Four. Any of them. Just one of them.
Why do I have to do
I'm
that?
I'm just curious. You used it. You referenced it. I'm just curious if you can tell me the name of one member of the
You know
Fantastic
what?
Four.
I don't know any of them. And you want to know why?
Why?
All the movies were bad. I've only seen each one once.
You know, fair. Very
Thank
fair.
you.
Very fair.
Thank you. So the Fantastic Four, they meet at school. And while they're all talking,
I wonder if there's anybody that's listening that doesn't know any of them, and we just moved on, and now we're never going to say any of the
Ryan,
names of the
Marissa.
No.
Oh.
No. The Fantastic
It's like we were talking about who all these four people are.
The Fantastic Four.
Nobody really cares about the Fantastic Four. They're not like, it's Marvel and it's DC Comics. And I know the Fantastic Four falls into one of those two, right?
Yes.
But nobody really cares about them. It's Batman and Superman, and then the Marvel ones.
But it's Marvel.
They're Marvel?
Yeah.
Well, that's why they're bad, because Marvel never chose to put any of them in the stuff because nobody cares about them.
They didn't own them. They were owned by 20th Century Fox until last year when they bought Fox. So they're going to be in movies, yes.
Well, then maybe I'll learn their names then.
Okay.
When they're good movies.
Well,
and we're not even going to say the names until then.
We're not going to
It's going to be a mystery. If you want to know what the names are, you can look up the names.
Do you know any of their powers? Chris Evans was one of them.
Oh, turns into the rock thingy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
His name is the Thing.
Oh, so when I said thingy, that worked.
You were close.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
So the Fantastic Four, they meet at school, and this guy named Brad comes over to talk to Summer.
Who's Brad? I don't like
some random bro about the kissing booth, because there's going to be a kissing booth as a fundraiser at school.
Because every episode of the OC has to either have a gala or a fundraiser or both.
Yeah. And so when Brad was trying to figure out what girl would be totally okay with kissing a ton of guys for money, of course he thought of Summer, and she was so flattered.
Which is so hilarious to me, given what we learned last week about Summer, is that she's not like that at all. She's never slept with anyone until Seth Cohen. Yeah, she obviously...
Making out is not the same.
She kissed around, obviously, but who doesn't do that?
Exactly. Scott.
So yeah, Seth is not happy about this whole kissing booth thing, and he goes to tell Summer, and Summer basically just blows him off.
Writes him off, yeah.
She just doesn't even pretend like she knows him.
Yeah.
And she walks away.
Yeah. And so someone who wouldn't treat him like that is Anna. And Anna saw that whole conversation between them.
She back from Pittsburgh.
So she kind of calls Summer out a little bit to Seth, and they're talking about that. But then he just kind of wants to push that conversation to the side and just ask her about Pittsburgh because she was gone.
Yeah.
And that's when we realized that Anna missed Pittsburgh. And because Anna missed Pittsburgh, we're going to wonder, are we going to miss Anna?
We're not going to wonder. This is the most transparent setting up a beat of Anna is going to move back to Pittsburgh and leave the show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We can write that prediction down and stamp it with my definitely going to happen stamp. Yeah, Anna's leaving the show, and they're setting it up here. She might be in one more episode, maybe two.
But I appreciate how in this episode we see how two people who were actually friends before they were in a relationship show us how you can be friends post-relationship.
I agree.
You know, Seth and Anna do a good job.
Especially since Seth did Anna dirty. She has no reason to be nice to him, to be kind to him, to help him with anything, but she's doing it because she
genuinely cares about him. Yeah.
And I think that's cool. I mean, I agree. Like, I thought when she wasn't in the last episode, I thought they were going to do this thing where they were just going to write her out of the show and make, like, I figured it would be like a move back to Pittsburgh thing, but I figured it would be like a between episodes move back to Pittsburgh thing where it's just like,
she's gone.
Where's Anna? I haven't seen Anna in a while. Oh, she moved back to Pittsburgh. That kind of thing. The fact that it's going to take the time to actually say this goodbye, I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. I think it's because she's just a good character.
She is, and she deserves her send-off. Yeah. She didn't do anything wrong. She did nothing wrong. She's doing nothing wrong here. I thought for a second this episode was going to be her getting revenge on Summer by sabotaging their relationship, but that's not what Anna does.
She takes the high road.
She does.
Yeah. So we always have to have some sort of, side storyline with the adults.
We do.
And this week we have Caleb, Kiki, and Sandy.
And a new character.
Uncle Sean, who got into some trouble at a hotel, and he needs some help, some legal help.
I think we need to clarify what trouble at a hotel means, because when I hear trouble at a hotel, my immediate thing is, he's a prostitute.
Okay, well, he was drunk.
Does it say something about me that my immediate thought is
No,
a
it's fine.
prostitute?
He was drunk and stumbled in a hotel room, so he was being charged with breaking into the hotel
He
room.
claims he thought it was his and he was too drunk and we'll learn more about that a little bit
Yeah.
later in the episode.
Anyways, Caleb just gets this bright idea that he can have Sandy help because Sandy has old connections in the DA's office, and so this will be great. And while Kirsten thinks that that's a great idea, she also thinks it's going to be much better coming from Caleb.
Yeah.
So she said, "That's fine, Dad, but you have to ask Sandy." Way to
stick it to your dad.
That back to him.
I'm glad. Like,
balls in your court, Dad.
I think this shows that the Kiki that broke up with Julie for Caleb has maybe learned a lesson this time.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Those Coens are standing their ground in this episode.
Yeah, stand your ground, Coens.
Yeah. So Julie was with Caleb.
Oh boy.
Now no longer with Caleb, and is going to the conference or the school for a parent administrator conference.
Yeah.
And she shows up in her just nice tailored suit, low cut, and walks right on up to little boy Luke.
Little boy Luke, yeah.
Little boy
their
Luke.
age difference.
Yeah. And
we do learn in this episode that Luke is 18.
Conveniently.
That is said. So we have to retract what we said about the illegality of this relationship. It is technically legal. It is still morally wrong.
Yeah. This was probably something where Luke and Marissa were originally the same age, and then it wasn't ever really clearly defined in any of the episodes. And so now that they wanted to run with this storyline, we're going to say that he's 18, and then we're just going to play along with that. That's how it has been happening the whole time, except I'm pretty sure that it was also mentioned in elementary school that Luke and Marissa had been together since like elementary school.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for him to not be her age. I'm fairly sure they were in the same grade always.
But, I mean
and she's 16, so I don't know.
Anyways,
it doesn't matter.
So Luke and her had this whole little like, I think it's like a cat and mouse type game. Like, she's just trying to
they're just
to
flirting
get him,
openly.
and he's just so excited. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy shows up in all of his
it's so awkward.
polo.
And then Luke switches back to the goofy Luke we've been seeing for the last few episodes, where he's just like, "Oh, hey, and he runs off and tries to go into a locked classroom, and it's awkward, but great. I loved it.
But part of the entire time that Julie and Jimmy were together at school after the conference, then Jimmy actually points out, Julie points out to Jimmy how good his parenting skills have been.
Unbelievable.
And how much she's appreciated him. And then Jimmy is like, whoa, hold up. Caleb and you must be going really great. And it's like, it's not Caleb.
Yeah, because she's being nice. So his assumption is it must be her relationship that she's happy. And she is happy in her relationship with an 18-year-old.
Yeah. And some other high school kiddos that are not necessarily happy with how their relationship is going on is Ryan and Coop. Ryan's, I guess, kind of happy with how it's going because he doesn't really want to be in a romantic relationship. He wants it to be a friendship. But Coop definitely wants more than that. She's just playing along with this whole we can be friends sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're hanging out after school. Or they plan to hang out after school.
Yeah, it's this really awkward conversation. So, like, you want to, like, hang out after school? And he's like, well, I'm busy tonight, which, of course, we know is because Teresa's coming to see him. So they hang out right after school. He's like, he doesn't want to, but he's, like, extending an olive branch to her because he feels bad a little bit.
Yeah.
It's going to be real awkward.
Yeah. Anyways, so Caleb just finally, swallows his pride and he goes to the restaurant and he asks Sandy for some help. And the part that I really enjoy about this is Caleb then says, I need to have you do a favor for me. And Sandy wants him to ask again because Sandy wants him to hear him say that he's asking him for a favor again.
Yeah, it's like,
it's really brilliant.
No, I heard you. I just want you to say it again for me.
Yeah, it's really funny.
So Seth and Sumer are at it again. Those horn dogs, those little horn dogs.
Yeah, they're hooking up in that purple bedroom.
The pink bedroom.
And Seth is upset that he is not allowed to be visible in his relationship with Sumer at school.
Yeah, and she turns on, like, the manipulation factory there.
Yeah.
And, like...
She's just not okay with it.
She tells him some long story about how, she's just not a very public person, and that's none of other people's business, and we are like, we must be seen in public. We cannot let people know about our secret life of, like, she's basically building them out to be celebrities, right? That's the whole thing. It's like they're celebrities, they're famous people, and they have to keep their stuff private, which is all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's total bullshit.
It's total. Yes. But someone who's at least slightly honest with their relationship with each other. Again, slightly, I say. Coop and Ryan, they are hanging out. They are not making out, which Marissa says, yeah, at least we're not like making out.
Yeah.
They are just playing the video games.
Okay. So there's so many different things that friends can do together.
Yeah.
Playing video games, that's your plan, Ryan? Like, that's what we're going to...
Well, that's what he and Seth do.
Yeah, I know, but that's like... I would not assume... She's clearly bad at the game. She clearly doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
I would assume that there are many other things friends can do that aren't coming over to my house and playing video games.
Okay, what else are they going to do?
I don't know. Go to the boardwalk. Go...
That's what he does on his date with Teresa.
Go to the beach. Get some ice cream. Go to the movies. Just hang out.
Those are dates.
No. They're not. They're hangout activities.
Okay. They each pay for their own thing.
Yeah, exactly. They each pay for their own thing.
No holding hands.
Ice cream cone. No holding hands. No sunsets. No romantic sunsets.
No head on the shoulder.
No, none of that. No sharing of jackets.
Okay, that's fine.
Just don't go. Hey, you want to go into my house and play some Nintendo?
Yeah. Well, Ryan's probably not very good at video games either.
Ryan's probably not good at anything.
Anyways, so Coop, she's not good, and she has to leave because Ryan says he has a lot of homework to do.
And of course, because it's a television show,
It's work and on that old home flame with Teresa.
That's not good, babe.
No.
It's not good.
Home because it was from his hometown.
The funny thing about television is, like, whenever someone lies to someone, it's immediately discovered, right? Because why not? Why have the lie in the story if it doesn't get found out? So he lies and says he has homework to do, knowing he's going to hang out with Teresa. And of course, as she is getting ready to leave, Teresa shows up, immediately exposing the lie. And it's super, super, super awkward.
Yeah. So Sandy goes to talk to Kiki about Uncle Sean because now that he kind of has the report about what's happened, he wants to get some more information about who this guy really is. And Kiki's pretty vague about it, but some things that Sandy does learn. Number one, Uncle Sean is not actually a family member uncle. It is just a term of endearment given to a man who's been employed for the company for a long time.
I feel like you're acting like this is the most
Number
important
two,
revelation in the history of the show. And
Uncle
it doesn't
Sean
matter.
has been there for the company, quote unquote, helping out. Does Kirsten necessarily know what he actually does?
Let's hope not.
No, but he's really good friends with her dad. Mm-hmm. Does this sound sketchy? Indeed.
I don't know why you're playing so coy.
It does.
I don't know why you're playing so coy with this when we know the resolution of this.
Well, these people don't know it right now.
I mean, look.
Unless they've watched along, but as I have learned, people just don't watch this show. They just listen to us talk about the show. They're not really watching it.
That's how good of a show it is. You don't even need to watch it. You just listen to us. We got you, guys. We got you.
We are our own telenovela.
Sí. Se puede.
Yes, you can. Yes, we can. Yes, it can be done.
Please continue. Your Spanish
Yes, we'll do.
Your Spanish is terrible. Anyway, where were we? I don't even remember.
Seth and Ryan, they walk into this family time conversation because they're getting ready for dinner, and everyone's really invested in how Ryan maintains his friendships because
he's the friend guy, baby.
Yeah, he's the friend guy. He's just going to be friends with everybody. Seth's creating some more than friendship names for him and Summer. They have two contenders. Now, I ask you, Scott, which of these two do you prefer for the Summer and Seth mashup? You have Summerith or Sethimer.
And look, I understand the struggle here, Seth, because I tried to come up with a Seth Summer name, and I just wasn't having it. But I got to give it to my boy, Seth. Sethimer
That's my favorite.
is the best
That's
one.
my favorite.
Sethimer is really
Sethimer.
good. It will officially be Sethimer from now
Sethimer.
on. I declare it.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah. So while the family is kind of just figuring out the relationships that both of their boys are in, nobody knows when Coop and Ryan were just friends. Again, everyone doesn't understand how Ryan can go back to being friends with her when nobody understands when they were friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, it's a fun gag.
And it's Sandy.
It's a fun gag. Like every single person calls him out on it. My favorite part about this scene is when Sandy calls him out on it. The end of the scene is Seth turning to Ryan, and he just gets like right up in his face. He's like, "When were they ever friends?" And Seth just turns to Sandy and is just like, or turns to Ryan. It's like, yeah, buddy, yeah. And it's a perfect end of the scene. Love it. Perfect.
Great.
Moving on.
Moving on to the Mermaid Hotel hookups. This week on Mermaid Hotel hookups, we have Luke and Julie. They are banging on that second floor.
Yeah, we joined them post-coital.
Yes.
They're getting dressed. He has to head to school. I guess they spent the night in the hotel, is the implication? I think they did.
guess
I think
so.
they met the
Yeah.
night before. It's the morning because he has to get ready to go to homeroom because that's the part where she starts to feel awkward about banging this 18-year-old high school student because he has to go to homeroom. And then she gets a call from her daughter who needs her project to be picked up from the house, which she is, of course, not out because she's going to hotel. Where was Caitlin? So
With Grandma.
if Caitlin was with Grandma
Yeah.
and Marissa lives with her father, why didn't they just go over to her house? Because he can't be seen there? They can't smuggle him in? As much as everyone sneaks around in the show, they can't smuggle Luke into the house?
Yeah. Of
course, we know the real reason. The real reason is someone happens to be her next-door neighbor at this seedy hotel. Is that... you sticking with that?
Staying next door. Yeah. She's staying next door. Now, this episode, we don't actually make any contact between the two rooms.
No.
The different parties that are involved.
But it is setting up... I mean, like...
They've made it look like it's going to happen quite a few times.
At the end of this episode, Marissa shows up at the hotel and, like, to see Teresa. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is happening. Uh-huh. And then it doesn't. But obviously they're setting it up for later, which is interesting because that means Julie is getting the same room. It's like this is our bang room. I have to get the same room. I have to.
Yeah. Makes it easier on the cleaning.
All right.
Yeah. So Anna and Seth, our wonderful friends, are having another conversation about relationships and shame. And this conversation, Anna suggests that Seth needs to take a stand because Seth is afraid that Summer is ashamed of something.
Yeah, of him. She like that. His take is she doesn't want to be seen in public with him because she's ashamed of him.
Yeah,
which would be consistent to her behavior throughout the show, I think.
Anna's prescription for this is give her a reason to show that she doesn't have anything to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
So just declare your love, make it public.
Take a stand.
Yeah,
which
take
he
a
takes
stand.
Extremely
a literal
literally.
stand.
Yeah.
Yes. So while all this is going on, Sandy is still trying to figure out how to handle the whole Uncle Sean situation. So he meets up with Uncle Sean over a drink, and he just basically calls him out on the sketchy behavior that it just so happens that he stumbled into the room with the person who is a competitor with the Newport group, and that there was a meeting that was going to be going on with someone that the Newport group wanted to have construction with, and they said no, and that this room would have had a lot of very important documents.
Yeah, he's going to go corporate espionage is what's happening. Yeah.
And so he says that he doesn't really want to go further with this because if he does, he's just going to bring up all of this to the DA because Sandy has a very high moral responsibility. But Uncle Sean threatens Sandy that he's known Caleb for a very long time and that if he gets in a room with the DA, he just doesn't know what they're going to talk about.
He's just going to talk-a-roo.
But Sandy doesn't like that.
I love that you wrote in the notes, Sandy does not like this.
Sandy doesn't like that.
It's like, in case we forgot as we were going through what Sandy felt about being blackmailed, he does not like it.
Sandy doesn't like blackmail. Just like Scott doesn't like the blackmail.
So Teresa and Ryan are hanging out. They're doing all the datey things that Ryan chose not to do with Marissa.
Yeah.
They're walking on the beach. They're eating ice cream bars called
Balboa
bars. Then they mention that everything in Newport has a different name. It's not an ice cream bar. It's a Balboa bar. It's not a car wash. It's an auto spa. And they also have doggy daycare, which is a little funny that how
Because we're gonna have doggy daycare
they make
for our
fun
dogs.
of how pretentious doggy daycare is, and we're actually thinking about putting our dog in doggy daycare.
It makes
just
sense.
just for like 1 day a week, so she's not locked up all day.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So Seth and Sumer, our couple going strong, are hanging out again, and Seth puts his foot down this time.
Literally,
He tells Sumer that you can't acknowledge me privately when you don't acknowledge me publicly.
And he goes
So he
on.
has buttoned his pants, zipped them up, and said, "No more, Sumer, no more until you let everyone else know that you and I are together."
sex strike.
Yes. And he's holding strong. Sumer didn't like it though.
Summer, I think, lasts 4 hours on the sex.
Yeah.
The sex strike.
Yeah.
Which, look, I know teenagers are hornballs. That's a little unrealistic for me. I
That
think she
is.
could probably last a little longer.
She
than that.
probably could, but she's used to getting what she wants.
True.
Yeah. So Eddie is trying to figure out where
Who
Teresa
is Eddie?
is.
We haven't said who Eddie is.
Oh,
yet.
Eddie is the mysterious man from the shower at the beginning of the show
Mm-hmm.
that was in the hotel room with Teresa.
Yeah.
And he runs into Ryan and he confronts Ryan about Teresa because he's trying to find her. Eddie has no idea where she is.
Yeah, which is important because
Teresa has said that she isn't. Teresa's never mentioned him. We'll just say that.
yeah, he
Teresa never
proposed
mentioned
to
him.
her. Is
Yeah,
what I
but
was
that's what
getting
we
to.
found out now
Yeah.
is that Eddie is looking because he did propose to her and then she ran off. And Ryan lies that he hasn't seen Teresa.
You know, if there's one thing Ryan Atwood is pretty good at, it's reading a situation and knowing that because Teresa hasn't mentioned this guy, she probably doesn't want him to know where
Yeah,
she is.
got
And
it.
so he reads that and supports the lie.
So then he goes to confront Teresa, and Teresa basically says all she really needs is just time. She needs to figure out what she wants to do before she goes back. And Ryan's just, I guess, totally okay with that.
No,
Not
he's
super
not.
sold with it.
He's
He
like-
doesn't want her to get married because she's what, 17?
Yeah, he thinks it's insane to get married at 17 years old, which he's right. But from her perspective,
She's going to get taken care of.
yeah, I get it. But I also don't get married at 17.
No.
Children out there, don't get married at 17. Wait till you're our age. I
Yeah.
was 31. That's a good age.
That's 27.
It's a good age.
27 is a great age. Perfect age. So we've already touched on this, that Summer storms over to the house in order to try and get Seth to break his strike and says, you know what, you're not giving in if you're not doing any of the work.
Which is, I mean, I'm not going to lie. It probably would have worked on me. I would have been like, yeah, you're right. I'm not a scab. Come on in. But no, Seth holds strong power to the people.
Yeah.
And he sends
she
her
leaves.
packing.
So Caleb is just like Summer.
That is
And-
the most hilarious part about this episode is these two parallel stories going on. The Seth and Summer romance and the Julie and Luke romance are both these secret romances, right? And
Yeah.
the stories are paralleling each other. So Summer shows up for a booty call with Seth, gets turned down. Caleb shows up for a booty call with Julie.
Okay, but the best part about this is he apologizes and he says that, we're such adults and we really, we did care about each other and I do miss having you. So can't we just come to some sort of arrangement? And Julie basically, she says what it is. She's like, is this a booty call?
And then she defines to him what a
And Caleb
booty
has
call
no
is.
idea what it is. And then she shuts the door in his face and he turns around and he's just like, yeah, I guess this was a booty call.
Seeing an old man just be like, yeah, I guess she got me. That was definitely a booty call. So both Caleb and Summer are sent packing.
Yeah. So the Coens are having a family dinner with Teresa, and Seth decides that this is a telenovela because Teresa is over and this is drama, and then everyone is just kind of narrating the story from inside the kitchen while they're setting the table.
Spanish, broken, terrible Spanish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Like, I'm not offended by this. I'm not Hispanic, so it's not for me to be offended by this. But I think it's like the only reason he's calling it a telenovela is because she's Hispanic.
Yes,
and
that's true.
it. It's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. So while Teresa, the new girl, I guess Ryan's old girl, is having dinner with everyone at the Cohens, we cut to Marissa, who's lonely on the couch, and her dad walks in. And because he has had such great parenting skills pointed out to us earlier in the show, we're highlighting those skills in the scene where Jimmy offers some advice to Marissa and says, like, when were you and Ryan ever really friends? You need to just tell him how you feel. And so Marissa gets the pep talk that she needs from her dad and decides to just go right on over to the Cohens.
Yeah, but also, like, hasn't she told him how she's felt, like, 20 times in the show?
And he has said no.
Yeah, like, I love that we're giving Jimmy a pep talk moment, and I understand, like, plot wise why we're like using a character to encourage Marissa to like change her tactics up a little bit. But the idea of tell him how you feel has been so established.
Yeah.
Like, she's told him,
true.
she marched over there on the advice of Sandy Cohen last week to tell him how she felt, and he turned her down. What has changed in the past week? Nothing. No. The same thing's gonna happen.
No. So at the dinner, one of the things that I just really love about this is that all the family is getting to get all these stories about Ryan and about him growing up. And Seth is just dying to get more stories about musicals and how Ryan was in musicals. And then Sandy cuts in and he's like, hang on, I was in musicals. And everyone quickly shuts him down. But then Seth just is trying to encourage his dad. And he goes, do it, Dad. Travolta's your bitch. I was just like,
nothing.
It's just really, I love their dynamic.
If Sandy Cohen had broken out into a rendition of Grease Lightning,
oh, you'd have died. You'd have lost.
I would be dead. I would be dead.
Yeah,
I'm so
glad
more
that
me.
he didn't.
Yeah, so
because I don't know how to do any of the editing for this podcast, and so done.
Saved.
No more.
It's a really awkward dinner though, because then Marissa awkwardly shows up and she's invited to dinner, and she says, "Yeah, sure." And so Teresa and Marissa are just sitting at the dinner table, and Ryan's like caught in between them. And of course, Seth and Sandy are just like looking at the situation with the telenovela idea in mind, and are just like loving it. They're just loving it so much.
Yeah. And it never really resolves into a good situation until we at least cut to the next scene.
It is kind of awkward that we just cut away from the dinner and it's just next morning, and we just like not going to deal with it.
We can only take so many, dull
awkward,
moments of the conversation.
Too much cringe,
I know.
Too much cringe, and everyone bows out.
So the next day, Eddie calls the house and is trying to get in touch with Ryan, and Seth kind of helps deflect that conversation and says that Ryan is unavailable. And then Seth and Ryan, they have a debrief from the dinner last night. And Seth gives Ryan a very important geometry lesson.
It's true.
Yeah. And he says that triangles are not friendly shapes. And that they have pointy sides and they hurt people. And so based on Seth's experience, he suggests getting out of the triangles, even though now with this new Eddie character, it is more of a rhombus instead of a triangle.
It's a love rhombus. I think this is funny because I think Ryan knows what a love triangle is. He was in one earlier in the show with Luke. He was there.
And with Oliver.
Yeah.
He's quite aware of the pointy shapes.
Great advice, Seth.
Yes.
Just you get two girls like you and suddenly you're a love expert.
He is. He's the expert.
He is getting way more sex than Ryan, which is just still shocking.
Well, right now.
Yes,
Seth's trying to catch up.
He's quickly catching up unless the strike doesn't end.
Yeah. So Sandy puts on his big moral pants and he refuses to help Caleb now that he knows what's going on. But Caleb has conveniently chosen just the right lawyer for the situation, because when Sandy says no, Caleb points out that Kirsten's the one who's been signing the paychecks for Uncle Sean. And while she doesn't know about necessarily what's going on, she will be hurt if anything comes out with Uncle Sean.
Yeah, basically, if I go down, she's going down with me. And
that's where the question comes. Sandy loves his wife, but he also has a very strong moral compass pointing towards north. And
Captain fucking America. What does Captain America do when he's blackmailed by his evil father-in-law?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to find out next week because that plot line does not get resolved at the end of this episode.
It doesn't. But I really like this moment with Summer and Anna.
This is my favorite moment of the episode.
They are having a conversation in the common area, and we have Anna playing a video game. And so,
what is Anna playing? Do you remember?
She's playing Miss Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm. Summer's playing Galaga last week. Anna this week, Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Is there any surprise? Which one I like better? Summer, Galaga, better than Miss Pac-Man? Let's just, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Why you're giving me a weird look, and I don't understand.
No,
what.
It's because I'm better at Galaga than I am at Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, so you're agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Summer and Anna are talking about why Summer doesn't want to be in a visible relationship with Seth, because Anna basically says that the way that you're treating him is unacceptable.
Which, again, good. Like, she doesn't have to do any of this.
No.
It's really good on her.
Yeah.
It's like she's about to leave the show and she's like wanting to leave everything good. She wants her friends to be happy. And of course, I think Anna thinks the same thing that Seth thinks, that it's because she's embarrassed of him.
Yeah.
But this is when we have our second big Summer reveal of the last 2 weeks.
And I think that we just like slowly are learning the layers that are Summer.
She's like
an onion.
I believe she's like an onion. Like
yeah.
It's the layers.
She makes you cry sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like a parfait.
Yeah. Okay, those are better tasting.
Mm-hmm.
So Summer is scared because she doesn't know why Seth likes her. She can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
why would a guy that smart, that funny, I was about to say that good looking, but
I know he's good looking.
Well,
but if
he is, but he's not like in the show good looking.
Yeah, I guess. But if she can't figure out why he likes her, then she's not going to be able to figure out why he will not like her. She
assumes that he's going to dump her.
Yeah.
He's going to assume that he's going to get bored and dump her because he doesn't actually like her. He's just an infatuation, and he's going to they have nothing in common. She's not as smart as he is in her mind, and she's just going to get dumped.
And then it's Summer getting dumped by Seth Cohen, and she can't have that for her reputation.
See,
which we haven't really talked about her reputation very much lately, but again, all of the other of the Fantastic Four are definitely the outcasts, and Summer still, I guess, gets called for the kissing booth, and everyone.
Yeah, but she doesn't have any
popular,
other friends.
But no,
like we haven't seen Holly. What happened to her? Does she even exist anymore? Summer hangs out with the four of them, and that's it. Yeah. So, my interpretation, and maybe this is because I love Summer and I'm being way too generous to her, but my interpretation is that last part, the reputation part, is bullshit. She doesn't want to get hurt. She's afraid of getting hurt, and making it official.
That's probably true.
Making it official means when it ends, it's going to hurt. And so
if you never start something, it won't end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Marissa has realized that there's an end to her relationship with Ryan, but she doesn't really want it to be that way. So she goes to the Mermaid Hotel to talk to Teresa to really figure out what's going on.
This is when I thought she was going to run into her mom.
Yeah, because she ends up leaving that conversation the exact same time that Julie sneaks into the other room.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's like at the same time.
Yeah. So, and while they're having that conversation, Ryan decides to go to Chino to talk to Eddie. And Eddie basically tells Ryan that he has a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan can either choose to help Eddie out and can say something to Teresa to convince her to come back because Eddie has a job. He's going to provide for her. He loves her. He wants to marry her and give her a good life. And there's been nothing in that relationship at this point that has let you know. I'm saying that because I really don't remember that whole Eddie and Teresa dynamic. But there's been nothing that has let you think that that was an unhealthy relationship other than the fact that she's young and she's probably scared at the fact that I'm 17. Should I get married? And she thinks that she can run away.
Yeah. I mean, when the episode opened and they showed the suitcase, my immediate thought was, oh, this is going to be an abusive relationship situation.
Yeah. Which it has not.
It could end up that way. But as of right now, you're right. As of right now, it seems like there's this guy, Eddie. He legitimately loves this woman. He wants to start a life with her.
Yeah.
And Ryan is possibly standing in the way of that.
So he can either convince Teresa to come back, or he's going to have to get ready to fight because Eddie isn't giving up on Teresa easily.
Yeah.
And if Ryan is given a chance to fight, Scott, what does Ryan do?
He's going to punch someone in the face.
He's going to fight.
He's going to punch someone right in the face.
Yeah.
Because his New Year's resolution, it's February now. New Year's resolution's abandoned.
I've already blown it.
No Carb 2020 is out the window.
I had one bite, so I might as well eat a whole loaf.
I had a chip.
You had a chip today?
No, yesterday.
You had more than one chip yesterday.
I had 5 chips yesterday. No Carb 2020 is over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't remember. Like, we didn't write in the notes, and maybe like Marissa's talk with Teresa. I can't remember what happens there.
It's basically Marissa tells Teresa that she didn't want the relationship to be over, so she wants to know if Teresa and Ryan are over because she doesn't want to try and put more effort into something that she knows she's really going to be in a competition
Yeah, and I don't remember what the answer Teresa gives her. It's probably non-committal, knowing this whole rhombus that's going on. Sure. Okay, cool.
So Seth decides that he is going to make his declaration for Summer, and he decides the best place to do that is the kissing booth.
On top of the kissing booth.
So while people are in line paying to kiss other people, Seth goes to the front of the line, gives the money, and he's basically telling Summer, you know, we're going to do this or whatever. And then he decides that he does need to stand. So he's going to stand on top of the booth. So he tries to use his upper body strength.
To just lift himself up on the top of that booth.
He can't do that. He's not strong enough.
That's my boy right there.
So then he goes over, he finds the chair, and he steps on that chair and then on top of that booth. And he basically says, Summer, you can either stand up here with me and show everyone that we're together, or if you don't, then it's fine and I'm done and we aren't going to go on anymore together. And what does she do, Scott?
And she grabs that hand and he hoists her up on that booth, and then they kiss on the kissing booth. And what I love is like the reaction of the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Like there's this group of cheerleaders there.
And they're like, oh.
No. Because when they first learn about it, when he says...
No, there's a couple that liked it.
No, when he first says, yes, I'm dating Summer, they cut to this one particular cheerleader, and she has this look of disgust on her face.
Oh, well, I saw
She's
the one
like,
that was happy about it.
Ew. But then by the time they're making out on top of the kissing booth, all the women and some of the men in the background are just like, aw.
Yeah.
And including Anna, who we cut to very briefly a couple times. She's standing in the background watching. She's not watching sadly or hurtly. She looks genuinely happy for her 2 friends. And we might never see Anna again. But if this is our Anna send-off...
If it's her parting gift.
I am pretty happy with what they did with this character. Yeah. I think that was very kind due to a character where a lot of other shows would just treat her like the ex that we've moved on from and the show doesn't care about anymore.
So we think that we think that Anna might be leaving, and we see that Teresa is trying to leave because she's packing up her bag and she's decided to go home to Gino.
She's going back to Eddie.
And then because Ryan is dumb, and Ryan thinks that there's no reason to live his life if there's not one woman that he's making mistakes for, he goes to Teresa and decides that he wants to give Teresa a reason to stay. So he kisses her.
I'm shaking my head right now. The audience can't see that, but I'm shaking my head right now because I'm so fucking mad at this guy.
And we're upset, and the show ends.
I mean, the show is constantly on Ryan's side, so I think it's probably going to end up being... I think I don't know. I think Eddie's going to end up being a jerk, more of a jerk than we've learned he is, because that allows Ryan to be on the side of right again. But in this moment, Ryan is impulsively standing between 2 people that might love each other. And I don't think Ryan loves Teresa. I don't think he does. I think you're right. I think Ryan wants to be with someone. He needs to be with someone. And this person is safe because they're from his past. And they're safe and they don't have all the baggage of everything that's just happened with Oliver and Marissa. And so he's just going to move on from that and jump into the arms of someone else, thus destroying a relationship. Yeah. I'm fucking pissed at this dude again. Yeah. And I'm going to be really mad if the show lets him off the hook on this one too. And it might.
Well, we
see.
will figure out what happens next week. So what we're going to do now, Scott, is we're going to have to round out those relationships. And we have say quite a few. We have a couple that we're going to add.
We do have some.
We have some new relationships this week to relationship status. So are you ready, Scott?
I am ready.
You are ready. Okay. I'm going to start this week with Coop and Ryan. Last week, Coop and Ryan were 3 out of 10. This week, Ryan and Marissa have decided that they are going to be friends. Ryan doesn't know how to be friends with girls, and Marissa has decided that she doesn't want to be just friends. So we've got a confusing relationship here. We're going to take it down 1 point because we have Marissa who still wants to be invested in it. We give them a 2 out of 10.
That's good. That's good. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Up next, we have Seth and Sumer, or as we call them now,
Summerith. No, Summerith.
Last week, I gave Summerith an 8 out of 10.
No, it's Sethimer. You said Sethimer. I remember because I thought about my maiden name and how that has part of the name in it. So you said Sethimer. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I did say Sethimer.
Sethimer.
You're right.
Okay, continue.
Last week, we gave Sethimer an 8 out of 10. They are definitely an item, but the one on the bottom shelf in the back because Summer doesn't want to be public couple. Wow, Elise. Seth is not having that and makes a public declaration on a kissing booth, and Summer accepts his hand to let everyone know they are an item on the shelf at eye level in the front. This metaphor. We're going to bump them up to a 9 out of 10. I really should read these before I do that.
Okay. All right. So now we have Sandy and Kirsten Cohen. Last week, they were a 9 out of 10. Kiki is relying on Sandy this week to help smooth things over at work, and Sandy looks into it because he loves his wife. Now that he has learned what this is all about, he has to figure out how much he loves his wife compared to his morals. We're going to keep him at a 9 out of 10 this week.
Ooh, we're going to keep him.
We're going to keep him.
There is trouble.
It's brewing.
The horizon.
It's just brewing, yes.
There's a hurricane out there. Up next, we have Julie Cooper and Caleb Nickel. Last week, we gave them a 1 out of 10. Julie tells Caleb what a booty call is, and Caleb definitely came over for one of those. He still likes her, but she has another boy toy right now. So we're going to bump them up. We're going to give them a 2 out of 10 because it's clear that Caleb is, at least on some level, regretting the breakup. So he's still got something there, and she is denying the booty call right now because she's got another booty, a young, supple lacrosse booty.
No wrinkles.
No wrinkles on that lacrosse booty. And she's going to go for that one. But let's say, for example, let's just hypothetically that the entire town finds out she's fucking an 18-year-old. It's probably not going to be a thing she can do anymore.
No, probably not.
And then that old rich booty looking pretty good.
Yep.
Going to call that booty.
All right, this week for Haley Nickel and Julie Cooper. Last week they were a 4 out of 10. This week the couple seems to go back and forth, and this episode had no Haley. So with the yo-yo of their relationship in the show, we're going to go ahead and remove them until Haley pops back up.
Oh, shit. We're removing
Yes,
them.
we're going to go ahead and take them out because I don't remember how many episodes she's gone back from.
You know, you said the yo-yo of their relationship, but when you said it out loud, it kind of sounded like the Yoko of their relationship. And I was like, what? Who?
Yeah.
Why did she... Yoko breaking up another band?
Yeah, no. Okay,
All right,
tell me about Luke and Julie, Scott. How are Luke and Julie doing this episode?
Well, to quote my wife, Bangtown Central, all caps. These two are practically rabbits and loving every minute of it, despite sometimes second-guessing their age and life stage differences, which they should. We're only giving them a 3 out of 10 because this is relationship status, not fuck buddy status.
Okay, and we're going to finish this week with Teresa and Ryan. Ryan is dumb, but reigniting a flame with one of his old girlfriends. He's giving her a reason to stay and a reason for her ex-boyfriend to give him a black eye. We're going to give them a 3 out of 10.
I think you are correct, and I think if I can make a prediction right here at the end of the show, it's that the Ryan gets punched in the face counter is going to be going up.
It's going to go
pretty soon.
Higher and higher.
And you know how I know that?
How?
Because next week's episode number 21, is called The Goodbye Girl.
Okay.
Not only do I think this means that our girl Anna is going to be leaving the show, but I think we might do this Teresa stuff pretty quickly too. I think it's one of those ones that could be like a double meaning. So Teresa could be one of the Goodbye Girls as well, because I think Ryan is going to either regret this or change his mind or something else stupid's going to happen really quick. So that's my guess for episode 21, The Goodbye Girl, which we will be covering next week, next Tuesday, January the 14th. Thank you.
Yep. All right, so that's all we have time for this week. If you like this podcast, you can check out all the other shows that we do over at doothmedia.com. We have a book club that we just have the newest release for. It talks about monthly. I forget what the one that you guys got.
On Friday, we did Ursula K. Le Guin's The Left Hand of Darkness.
And then for next month?
For next month, we are going to be Children of... Yeah, this month, on the 31st of January, we're going to be meeting to discuss Children of Time.
And because reading and
track off
writing
speed.
go hand in hand, if you love to read, you might also love to write. Those are two things that kind of sharpen each other. So you can also participate in Do the Right Thing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What is Do the Right Thing?
Do the Right Thing is when you are given a few words each week and then you are challenging yourself to sit down for 30 minutes and try and use 3 or more of those words all in your writing and then submit it. And the people talk about your writing. Break it apart.
Frankly, my dear, I am wonderfully impressed by your ability to know that. I didn't know you knew all that.
About what?
About Do the Right Thing. I didn't know you were following closely enough to know how it works.
I know how it works.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
What are the names of the hosts?
Um,
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I thought you were
guys.
going to know this. It's Matthias and Jarvis.
I knew Matthias. I just didn't know the other one. I'm sorry.
They're great guys. They put on a great show.
Yeah.
You can check that and all of our other shows at that website. That's doofmedia.com. And if you want to support that show, this show, any of the shows on our network, you can do it at Patreon. That's patreon.com/doofmedia. You can pledge $1 a month or whatever else you can afford. Give up just one coffee. Just don't go to Starbucks one day, which, I mean, I say that it's very difficult for Elise to not do that. She almost went to Starbucks today for some reason, but I did.
Actually. I almost did.
And I told no, I did. I said support Doof Media instead, and she did, and you can too.
And you know what though?
What?
If you were like me and you just have to buy the coffee, and so you can't give the money, what you can do is just go over and write a review over on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
It's free to do that.
It is totally
and you can
free.
drink your coffee that you just bought while doing it.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with that because you're still giving me something.
Here's what you do: you just hit that 5 stars, and you go.
Now, if I could translate those stars over to my Starbucks account, that would be even better, but I can't, but it's fine.
If you give us 5 stars, we've actually, special announcement, we've worked out a deal with Starbucks. If you give us 5 stars, Starbucks will give you 1 tall latte for only $4.50.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal.
I thought it was a
just go there
steal.
and say doof. Just yell doof at the barista, and they'll make your latte.
Make sure you point at them too.
And they'll only
and you have to boop them on the nose.
They'll only charge you $4.
What you do is you take your right pointer finger and you go up to them and you use it and you tap them on the nose when you say doof.
I just
and then they give you a tall beverage for
folks, I just want you to know that the opinions and views of Elise Daly do not represent Doof Media Limited Liability Company, and she is not encouraging you to physically assault.
I am encouraging you to go and doof someone on the nose.
Our company is not physically encouraging you to assault anyone. Please don't invade a person's personal space and touch them on the nose.
Please do that and tell me about it. I would die out of laughter.
We'll see you next week. Farewell from the OC, bitch.